Pisces, something in your life is beginning to change. And the strange part is, you may not see it coming. Uranus carries the energy of surprise, sudden changes, unexpected opportunities, and moments that completely change the direction of your life. For Pisces, this energy can feel especially personal, because you may have already started feeling that something is different. Maybe your priorities are changing. Maybe the people you once felt comfortable with no longer feel quite the same. Or perhaps you've been thinking about changing your environment, your work, your daily routine, or even the way you imagine your future. Don't ignore that feeling. Sometimes your intuition notices a new chapter before your logical mind can understand it. And Pisces, this is where your story becomes interesting. A change ahead may not begin with something dramatic. It could begin with a conversation, a surprising message, a new idea, an unexpected opportunity, or a sudden realization that makes you say, "I can't continue living the same way." That moment can become the beginning of something much bigger. You may discover that the life you were trying so hard to hold on to is actually holding you back, and the universe may be pushing you toward a different direction, not because you have failed, but because you've outgrown an older version of yourself. Pisces, the next chapter may ask you to become more flexible, to stop controlling every outcome, and to trust yourself when life suddenly changes direction, because what first appears to be an interruption could actually be an opportunity. And what looks like an ending could secretly be your beginning. But there is one specific area of your life where this changing energy could become especially noticeable. And once you understand what it is, you may finally understand why you've been feeling so different lately. This is only the beginning. Pisces, the area of your life that may begin changing is connected to your daily world, your routines, your work, and the environment you spend your time in. You may suddenly feel the need to do things differently. A routine that once felt normal may begin feeling too restrictive. A job that once felt secure may no longer give you the same satisfaction. Or you may discover a completely different way of working that gives you more freedom. This is where Uranus energy can become powerful. It doesn't always ask permission. It simply creates a new direction. For some Pisces, this could mean a surprising career opportunity. For others, it could be a new project, a new online opportunity, or a skill that suddenly becomes much more valuable. And here's the important part. Don't assume that every change means you have to leave everything behind. Sometimes, the transformation starts with one small adjustment, a new schedule, a new skill, a new connection, or one decision to stop wasting your energy on something that no longer serves you. You may also become much more selective about where you put your attention. And Pisces, that is a powerful change, because your future is shaped not only by what you choose, but also by what you finally decide to stop choosing. The distractions, the unnecessary drama, the habits, and even the situations that constantly drain you may begin losing their power over you. And as you create more space, something new can enter. A new opportunity, a new direction, a new version of yourself. So if you've been feeling restless lately, don't immediately assume something is wrong. That restlessness may be telling you that your current life is ready for an upgrade. And Pisces, the next part reveals why this change could eventually affect your relationships and the people around you. Pisces, as your life begins to move in a new direction, you may notice something changing in your relationships, not necessarily because someone is leaving, but because you are changing. And when you change, your relationships change with you. You may suddenly feel less interested in shallow conversations, less willing to explain yourself again and again, and less comfortable with people who constantly drain your emotional energy. This doesn't mean you have to fight with anyone. Sometimes the healthiest change is simply creating distance. You may also meet someone unexpected, a new friend, a professional connection, a mentor, or even someone who introduces you to an opportunity you never considered before. And Pisces, pay attention to unexpected connections, because sometimes one conversation can open a door that you didn't even know was there. You may also start attracting people who think differently from you, people who challenge your old beliefs, people who encourage you to take action, and people who make you think bigger about your future. At first, that may feel uncomfortable, but don't immediately reject something just because it's unfamiliar. Uranus energy often brings the unexpected, and the unexpected can become the most important part of your journey. There is also a deeper lesson here. You don't need everyone to understand the direction you're taking. Your future doesn't require everyone's approval. If your intuition is telling you that it's time to grow, listen carefully. Because Pisces, the next transformation may begin with one relationship, one conversation, or one unexpected person who enters your life at exactly the right moment. And this connection could eventually lead you toward a completely different future.
Pisces, there is another shift you need to watch for. Your career direction may begin changing in a way you never planned. Something you once considered just a side interest could suddenly become much more important. A skill, a creative idea, an online project, or a completely different type of work may start demanding your attention. And you may wonder, why am I suddenly thinking about this? Because sometimes your next chapter begins with curiosity. You don't have to have the entire plan figured out. You only need to investigate what keeps calling your attention. For some Pisces, this could mean learning technology, starting something online, changing your professional direction, or discovering a completely new way to use your existing skills. But don't make a sudden decision just because you're excited. Explore first, learn, research, test the idea, then decide. The goal isn't to destroy your current life. The goal is to discover what your future could become. And there is something important about this energy. You may become less willing to work only for security. You may start asking, does this actually feel meaningful to me? That question can change everything, because when your work starts matching your interests, your creativity, and your personal freedom, your motivation can become stronger. Pisces, the unexpected career path may not appear as a giant opportunity on day one. It may look like a small experiment, a new skill, a side project, or a simple idea that you decide to take seriously. Don't underestimate small beginnings, because the path that looks insignificant today could become one of the biggest changes in your future. And the next shift may affect something even more personal, your sense of freedom. Pisces, you may soon realize that freedom means something different to you now. Maybe before, you were comfortable with routines that gave you security, but now something inside you wants more. More independence, more control over your time, more space to create, and more freedom to choose your own direction. This doesn't mean you need to abandon everything immediately. It means you are beginning to question what truly works for your life. And that question can lead to a major transformation. You may start changing your schedule, working differently, learning new technology, building something on the side, or creating a second path that gives you more options. At first, it may seem like a small experiment, but don't underestimate where consistency can take you, because the future you want may require a completely different daily routine. Pisces, you may also start protecting your personal time. You'll become more selective about who gets your attention, and you'll realize that saying no isn't selfish. Sometimes it's necessary for growth. When you stop giving your energy to everything and everyone, you finally have enough energy to build what matters. This is where your transformation becomes visible. Your life may become simpler, more intentional, and more aligned with what you actually want.
And then, something unexpected can happen.
The thing you thought would make you feel trapped may become the thing that gives you your freedom. A new job, a new skill, a new business idea, a new environment, or simply a new way of thinking.
Pisces, your next chapter isn't about escaping your life. It's about creating a life you no longer feel the need to escape from. And there is one final area where this transformation could become especially powerful. Your home, your personal space, and the emotional foundation you are building for your future.
Pisces, the transformation may become even more personal when you begin changing the environment around you. Your home, your private space, and the people you allow close could become more important than ever. You may suddenly want to remove old things that carry old memories. You may want to reorganize your room, change your surroundings, move to a different place, or simply create a space that feels more like the person you're becoming. And this may seem like a small thing, but your environment can influence your mindset. When your surroundings feel heavy, you can feel stuck. When your surroundings feel fresh, you may feel ready to begin again. For some Pisces, this could even become a literal move, a new home, a new city, or a completely different environment. But don't assume that every change must happen immediately. Sometimes the first step is simply realizing that you want something different. And Pisces, that realization is powerful, because once you know what you no longer want, you can finally start building what you do want. You may also become more protective of your emotional peace. People who constantly bring chaos may no longer have the same access to you. And instead of feeling guilty about that, you may finally understand that protecting your peace is part of growth. Your home should feel like a place where your energy can recover, a place where your future can be imagined, a place where you can think clearly and make better decisions. Pisces, you are not simply changing your surroundings. You are creating a new foundation for the person you are becoming. And once that foundation becomes stronger, the next part of your transformation can begin. Because when your outer world changes, your inner world can change with it.
Pisces, after everything begins to change around you, something deeper begins changing inside you. You start realizing that you are not the same person you were months ago. Your priorities are different. Your standards are different. And the things you once accepted may no longer feel acceptable. This is not you becoming cold. This is you becoming more aware of your own value. You may stop chasing people who don't choose you, stop forcing situations that constantly create stress, and stop trying to control outcomes that were never in your hands. Instead, you begin choosing peace, growth, freedom, and authenticity. Pisces, this is where a major internal shift can happen. You stop asking, "What will everyone else think?" and start asking, "What is actually right for me?" That question can completely change your future, because once you stop living according to expectations, you become free to build your own path. You may also become more confident about taking calculated risks, not reckless risks, not decisions made from emotion, but thoughtful moves that support the person you want to become. And suddenly, things that once terrified you may not feel quite as powerful. Starting again, learning something new, meeting new people, changing direction, building something from zero. You may realize you are capable of much more than you believed. And Pisces, that realization could become one of the biggest gifts of this entire transformation. Because the future doesn't need the old version of you. It needs the stronger version, the more confident version, the more independent version. And you're already becoming that person. There is only one final question you need to answer. When the unexpected door finally opens, will you have the courage to walk through it? Pisces, we've reached the most important part of this message, because all the changes you've been feeling are preparing you for something new. The unexpected doesn't always arrive as a dramatic event. Sometimes It arrives quietly. A new idea, a new person, a new opportunity, a new direction that suddenly feels right. And when that moment comes, don't immediately run back to what feels familiar. Ask yourself one simple question. Is this taking me closer to the life I actually want? If the answer is yes, pay attention, explore it, learn about it, and if it makes sense, take the next step. Pisces, you don't need to know exactly where the entire road will lead. You only need enough courage to take the first step, because your future will reveal itself one decision at a time. The changes coming into your life may initially feel uncomfortable, but remember, growth rarely feels comfortable at first. A new environment can feel unfamiliar, a new career can feel uncertain, a new relationship can feel unpredictable, and a new version of yourself can feel completely different. But different doesn't mean wrong. Sometimes different is exactly what you need. Pisces, the biggest message of this entire reading is simple. Don't fear the unexpected, because the unexpected may be carrying the opportunity you've been waiting for. Your life is not stuck, your story is not finished, and the version of you that is emerging may be stronger, more independent, and more confident than ever before. So when the door finally opens, don't stand outside wondering whether you're ready. Take a breath, look forward, and step through it. Because the next chapter may not look like the life you imagined. It could be even better. Pisces, your transformation has already begun. And sometimes, the biggest blessing arrives disguised as a change you never expected. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to Capricorn Destiny for more Pisces astrology and future energy readings. Your next chapter is beginning now.